It's the 22nd day of July, 2025, according to my calendar, which I put fresh batteries in, so I know it's working. It's Tuesday. I'm Dan Coons. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 61 degrees here in the big city. It's going to be warmer today than it was yesterday. A couple of weather phenomenons we're going to talk about when we get to our cameras around the valley. Some interesting weather, to say the least. The very definition of isolated showers we dealt with on Monday. Forecast details are coming up. Today's the transition day. You see the clouds behind me. They'll be departing by the end of the day today. It'll be replaced by high pressure, a flat ridge of high pressure, not a dome, but a flat ridge, but it's certainly going to be enough to amplify the heat. We'll be warming up into the 90s. By the back half of the week, it's going to be warm and dry. We didn't get much rain, though. I was very excited to see exactly how much came down at the airport. Keep in mind, the official measuring device, the weather station that is used for all the stuff for the Wenatchee Valley, has been since 1959 located at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport, because you got to put it someplace, and that's where the station is officially for the valley, for temperatures and dew point and wind and rain and relative humidity. We only got 2/100ths of an inch officially. Other places got more. Again, we'll talk about that. Busy news day yesterday. This is supposed to be kind of the slowest time of the year, midsummer, for news. That's not the case. Busy day in the newsroom yesterday. Sports, Mariners ran into the buzzsaw that is the Milwaukee Brewers. Who would have thought this 2 weeks ago? But now the Brewers have the best record in baseball. They took it to the Mariners, especially late in the game. They scored all their runs in the 6th and in the 8th, highlights, if you will. Plus, where the Apple Sox sit on the playoff deal. And, of course, the Seahawks go back to work. It's hard to believe. The veterans report today. You show up, you get your keys, you get a locker, you get your jersey, then they actually start practicing tomorrow. We'll have that in sports. And speaking of sports, part 2 of our 2-part interview with our friends at the Wenatchee Wild. Austin Drade does the honors today. The Wild's schedule is out. We know who they're going to play. We know when they're going to play them. The question at this point is who's going to be on the Wild roster come late next month. And Austin Drade will talk about some of the roster moves and some of the incoming players in the back half of the program. 2 minutes after the hour, it is tour time. Here we go. Yeah, that's all we got. 2/100ths of an inch as measured at Payne-Bohr yesterday. Now, I live here in the big city, and it did come down fairly rapidly for not very long, maybe a couple of minutes, and then it was gone. I have a sibling who lives on the east side of the river up near the Odebashan Bridge, and for about 5 minutes they got pounded. But again, isolated showers is what we had yesterday. Good news, though. A lot of rain came down, pretty intense rain came down on the Palmas Fire up the Anahuac Valley. They had a pretty good dose in the Ardenvor area as well. They had a cell that went through in the early afternoon hours. So good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Most of the clouds, as you can see, are to the north of us, and again, they'll be dissipating. But we're still not out of the woods yet. We could still have some thunderstorms early this afternoon. Camera number 2. Up to, oh my, oh geez. Okay, I got to think here. Oh, that's Rock Island. That's the Rock Island camera. Okay, I got you. As you can see, if you look to the west and the south, not too many clouds out there. Haven't used the Rock Island camera for a while. It went through me for a loop. Other rain totals yesterday, Moses Lake, nothing. Afraid it got a trace. Omak was supposed to get some pretty good rain. They only got a trace. Most of the rain, the isolated showers, came down in the Medhow Valley. Twisp got hammered pretty good. Winthrop got some pretty good rain as well on down into the Pateros area, but it kind of sort of missed most of us yesterday. Camera number 3. We're off to Lake Wenatchee at this time tomorrow at the very top of the lake where the White River and the Little Wenatchee empty into the Wenatchee River. That'll be full of fishermen, sockeye. The sockeye season begins 1 hour before sunrise tomorrow, basically when it's enough light to see what it is that you can do, and a lot of people will be doing that. And you can take 4 sockeye per fisherman this year. Last year it was just 2. So tomorrow when we use this camera, you're going to notice a lot of boats at the very top of Lake Wenatchee. And finally, camera number 4. We are off to, is that Blag? That's high above Peshastin, I'm pretty sure. That's high above Peshastin. Yesterday's high was 80 degrees. That happened before noon At 11:39 yesterday morning, we got to 80, and then as the system, as predicted, began to make its presence felt, we actually cooled down. Normally, our high temperature is at about 5 o'clock, but we actually went from 80 degrees to 70 degrees by 5 o'clock. Very rarely do we see our afternoon highs, especially in the summertime, happen in the morning, which was definitely odd. Our normal high is 89. We'll be closer to that normal high today than we were yesterday. Sunrise this morning, 5:27. Sunset tonight, 8:46, 15 hours, 19 minutes of daylight, 2 minutes and 12 seconds less than we had yesterday. 3 slides to show for you. We're still not out of the woods for thunderstorms. Still could see a pop-up thunderstorm late this morning into the early afternoon areas for us in the Wenatchee Valley. The main threat will be basically, again, to the northeast of us. The farther east you go, you have a better chance of some thunderstorms. We have a slight chance of some late morning, early afternoon thunderstorms, and then before a warming and drying trend begins in earnest really tomorrow. Today is going to be the transition day, especially late in the day today. We should have fairly sunny skies. It's a Tuesday tradition, the Climate Prediction Center, and the forecast for the rest of the month. This will take us through the end of July. So your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. It looks, well, it's awfully pretty to look at, that nice little rainbow color right down the spine of the Rocky Mountains, but they're kind of hedging their bets. I guess it's kind of normal is what it's looking like. Temperatures are probably going to be right around normal, maybe a little below normal as we close out the month of July from the Climate Prediction Center. That's the temperature outlook. Same time period, precipitation outlook. Slightly above, perhaps. We shall see. The Midwest is really getting hammered with some really hot weather. Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, it's been scorching out there. Not the good kind of heat either. So we could see slightly more than normal precipitation. Keep in mind it's July. We don't get a lot of rain here. Anyway, but at least we got off of it. We hadn't had measurable rain since May 25th until yesterday. Too bad it was only 2/100ths of an inch. We could use more. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Again, still could get some pop-up showers today, mainly between, say, about noon to about 2. Outside of that, we should be dry, a lot warmer, too. High of about 85 degrees. It'll be sunny by, say, 3:30 or 4. We'll pretty much be done with the clouds as a flat ridge of high pressure moves in, and that means warm temperatures will be up to the lower 90s on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday close to 90, Saturday close to 90, a little breeze here and there. So it looks like our afternoon high temperatures will be just about normal. Our normal high starting today is 90 degrees, and that's about what we'll be right through the forecast period once we get through the last bit of unsettled weather today. All right, we're going to take a break and come back with, turns out, a lot of news on this Tuesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
61 degrees, clouds to the north of us, pretty clear to the south of us. Eventually the clouds will be departing, but we can't rule out a stray raindrop or two, and then the sunshine back in earnest on Wednesday and right through the weekend, sunny and warm. It's 11 minutes after the hour. A fatal shooting Sunday night in Ephrata has left one man dead and has led to 2 arrests. Police say it happened at the Hawk Fuel Station on Basin Street Northwest in Ephrata. This happened about 7:40 on Sunday night. Investigators say there was a disturbance near the gas pumps, followed by gunfire. Officers found one male victim with multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 people were arrested soon afterwards, one on suspicion of homicide and one as an alleged accomplice. Neither of the identities of the victim or those arrested have been disclosed as of this morning. Working on tips from a former resident and a possible signal from a cadaver dog, East Wenatchee police spent the weekend digging out the crawl space of a local residence. Detective Ben Falconer told us it was an effort to verify a tip regarding a previously unknown murder case dating to the 1990s, in which the informant claimed human remains might have been buried beneath the house years ago. The tip centered on East Wenatchee City Council member Ralph Aiken Jr. He was declared dead after his small plane went missing in Alaska back in 2006. With the current homeowner's permission, police brought 2 cadaver detecting dogs to the site, and one of the dogs gave an alert of a possible finding. The other did not. To be certain, investigators by hand dug roughly a dump truck worth of soil out from underneath the house, but they found no remains and no evidence of a crime. Falconer says there appears to be no further information to pursue, and he says his office has done its due diligence. The Wenatchee School District is facing what it calls a, quote, significant and immediate challenge, end quote, as the United States Department of Education has withheld billions in federal funding for schools nationwide. And on Friday, the district anticipated a $2.9 million loss of funding for migrant education, multilingual education, and before and after school programs, plus teacher training. Yesterday, the district's communications director, Diana Haglund, told us the funds for after-school programs have been released by the department, but not for the other programs. Haglund says there's still about $2.4 million is being withheld, and the district may receive more funding in that category, but there are no definite numbers yet. The district said it originally thought the federal funding cuts would come in the next school year, the 2026-2027 school year, but by pulling back the funds, it will require budget adjustments for the school year that starts on August 27th. $10 million in federal funding will go towards the Wenatchee Landing Project to help Douglas County address transportation and safety issues. U.S. Representative Dan Newhouse, who represents Washington's 4th District, secured over $23 million for several Central Washington infrastructure projects last week. The funding will provide safety upgrades, including a separated pedestrian and bicycle path, improved sidewalks, and better connectivity to Highway 28 and Highway 2. The improvements are meant to reduce accidents and support sustainable transportation needs. Back in May, you might remember, Douglas County officials welcomed U.S. Senator Patty Murray to the Wenatchee Landing site to ask for help in turning the area into a major commercial development. June was officially Ride Transit Month, when Americans are encouraged to ditch their car and ride their local bus or other commuter service rather than using their own vehicles. Better late than never. I took my cameras and my producer, and we went down to Link Transit to talk to a couple of coach operators, the folks who get you from point A to point B, and I asked them what they like about their jobs.
It's fun to educate others. So like when I was doing the Chelan, I could tell them about the Chelan Dart that maybe they didn't know about. To be able to get where they need to go in Chelan if we weren't going that way. It's fun.
What's your dream route? The one that everybody wants to do.
That's tough because I really do. I love driving in the 40-foot buses, either to Leavenworth or Chelan, because they're the most comfortable to drive. But I really do love Link Plus. So
Because?
it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you get to be a little bit more personable. And I don't know, I just get to love on people and make a difference. I mean, you make a difference every day driving the bus, even the big buses, but in Link Plus, it's more disabled and elderly, and it's just like you get that one-on-one connection.
When I was a kid, my dad was a truck driver. I always wanted to be like my dad. And when Link started, I was only 11 years old. And I saw how the coach operators were driving, and it felt really nice when I was a passenger. And I said to myself, I want to be like them. I want to drive these big buses. I don't know, it feels like I want to do it. And with time, I applied and I got the job. I got hired thanks to the staff that hired me. And I just enjoy driving. I like to see the outdoors, what's happening in our streets, in our community, what's growing, what's everything. So, I mean, ever since then.
Been here 17 years, almost 18 years. You must really like it.
I don't like it. I enjoy it. I tell my passengers, this is my hobby. I just like driving it.
And finally, on this Tuesday morning, the Valley Pizza Joint. It's a brand new pop-up pizzeria. It's in the parking lot of JB Steamers in East Wenatchee. Owners Michaela and Michael Rivera are officially moving their homemade pizzas out of their backyard and into the community so we could eat it too. Their current permit only allows them to operate for the summertime, so they're eager to get their pizzas into the hands of customers before the fall season begins.
So we have been together almost 20 years dating, married like 15. We've been doing pizza at home for like what, 2-3 years? Yeah, 2 or 3 years. But as far as like in a commercial aspect, we've only been doing it a month. So this is all new. So my really good friend owns JB Steamers, and we're just so fortunate that she actually offered for us to be in her parking lot to use it when she's not. So our menu we thought about for a really long time. What's your favorite that you came up with?
Well, my favorite will be the chorizo and pepperoni, and maybe some chicken on it. So it's a little bit more of a meaty type pizza, you know, but that's something that I can't really find nowhere else, you know, so I make it my own, you know. So then same thing with her. She had a few recipes passed down from her dad had a business, so, you know, and she liked a few of them too, so she picked some of those.
So my dad owned Troy's Pizza in Iniat for 20 years, and then he actually moved to Arkansas. So he has a pizza restaurant, other restaurant in Arkansas. Our best seller by far is the Breath of Fire pizza. It is one from my dad. My whole childhood, my dad owned a pizza restaurant. He still does, and so not here, so we're not stealing. But it is a spicy Alfredo, essentially, with chicken, cheese, and then you can customize it, onions, jalapenos, things like that. So our schedule is sporadic. We are rolling with the health department's schedule that we were approved with. So essentially every Monday on our Instagram or our Facebook, which is the Valley Pizza Joint on Instagram and on Facebook, I will post if we will be open that Friday. So if there's a Monday and you don't see that post, unfortunately that Friday we won't be open. But any other times we'll post on there, let you know what times we'll be here. Essentially our hours will always be from 6 till whenever we feel like. Maybe 11, maybe midnight, I don't know.
Our first day was like, I think like midnight.
We closed at midnight, 12:30, something like that. It was fun. We got to get the bar crowd at the end.
We wanted to be seen.
Yeah. So
Make
we
a
have our
stand.
friend that brings his DJ booth, which is awesome. We love a good party. And unless we sell out, we'll be here till at least 10 or 11.
I believe the most rewarding thing that we, at least for me and probably her, is just seeing how people like our pizza.
Yeah.
You know, because that's something that we've been doing for a few years, just family, like making parties and just telling people like come get pizzas, because we've been trying to.
What if our family just says it's good and it's not?
You know, so now that we've seen the reaction, I think that's a really big satisfaction, and it makes the effort worth it.
So much more fun.
You know, so, you know, something that we were trying to get good budget on the prices and everything. You
Yeah.
know, so that comes with it. And you know, if we can create something good and good service with it, I think we got nothing to lose here. You know, as long as we're giving our all.
So the future, there's so many possibilities. I don't know.
I mean, I think there's definitely a big picture behind this little picture, you know, and there's definitely a future, and hopefully a future for us and our family, you know.
We like to dream big.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, we want to bring a lot of good stuff to this valley because we've been here for a long time. We love it. So, you know, a big deal will be, you know, getting our own business, our own restaurant.
A brick and mortar would be the absolute dream.
And of course, with something that's family related, you know,
Yes.
that's something that's for the adults and something for the little kids, you know.
Yeah, we have both.
And we can all come together and have pizza together and enjoy it.
Well, I for one am hungry. That's the news on this Tuesday. If yesterday was any indication, they're going to be busy again in the newsroom, but we got journalists who know what they're doing. And at 5 o'clock tonight, the news will come your way. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. That's the TV times, the airing times for the NCWLIFE Evening News, 5, 6, and 10 for you traditional TV consumers. If you're not a traditional TV consumer, don't worry. Our news will be posted on our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, right around 5 o'clock. It'll also be on our YouTube page, and we'll put a link to our newscast on our Facebook page. Again, right around 5 o'clock, and you can watch it whenever you want to after that. Got a news tip? Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. The Brewers are the hottest team in baseball, and they took it to the Mariners last night. Highlights when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
The Surf and Slide Water Park is open from Memorial Day through Labor Day. Surf and Slide is located in the heart of Central Washington in Moses Lake with activities for all ages and abilities. Check out Surf and Slide's Flow Rider Surfing Simulator, Lazy River, 2 200-foot water slides, tube slides, and diving boards. Our children's area includes a Treasure Island water structure, splash pad, and baby octopus slide. For season passes, visit us online or find Surf and Slide on Facebook.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
24 minutes after the hour, sports. George Kirby carried a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and then Milwaukee sent 8 men to the plate. Tagged him for 4 runs. The Brewers ran away their 11th straight victory. They beat the Mariners 6-0 last night at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners managed just 2 hits off Brewer starter Brandon Woodruff. Brandon Garcia, though, he made his major league debut for the Mariners. He was called up from Tacoma earlier in the day. He gave up a couple of runs in the 8th.
Young smothers, pops up on to first. He's been a busy man tonight. Nice play there once again by Cole Young.
That range getting better and better left and right. Nice play, had plenty of time to set his feet. George Kirby let him know.
Contreras, a high fly into right. Ortiz back to tag, can zone under it, makes the catch. Here's the throw home. Ortiz slides, he's safe. 1-0 Brewers on the sac fly by Contreras. Just deep enough. 1-0 Brewers, now it's Yelich. Ground ball up the middle, base hit, 2-0 Crew as Yelich drives in a run. Extends his on-base streak to 27 balls.
I know they're not always the coolest things in the world, but the last 46 games, the Brewers have more sac flies than anybody. You want to score runs? Get them in when you can.
How about Churiel? Center field, Rodriguez back, and it's off the top of the fence. Yelich sent around third. It's going to be a play at the plate. Young's throw is late. Yelich scores from first base. Churiel with an RBI double. It's 3-0.
On the first pitch, too, a slider off the center field wall, scoring Yelich all the way from first base.
Jackson Churiel, 15-game hitting streak.
Already got a 3-spot here in this one.
Runs in bunches. Collins rips one down the right field line. That'll get another run home. Collins with an RBI single makes it 4-0.
Well, they left some sunglasses up here thinking that could happen.
Chopper, Garcia, spins, throws low, and it's down the right field line. That'll get a run home as Yelich is going to end up at second base. It's 5-0 Brewers. One-0 to Churiel. Lined, and it's into center, a base hit just out of the reach of Young. A hit and an RBI for Churiel makes it 6-0. Anderson's 1-2. Got him! 11-game winning streak for your Milwaukee Brewers as they shut out the Mariners 6-0 in Seattle. Efficient, to the point, and the Brewers have the best record in Major League Baseball.
After 100 games, Brewers 60-40.
And the Brewers in sole possession of first place in the National League Central.
Manager Dan Wilson noted that, George Kirby gave up no hits through 5 innings, but Brandon Woodruff from the Brewers just as good.
George was just sailing through, 5 there with the no-hitter, just, had great stuff. Woodruff, I thought on the other side was doing a pretty good job of matching it. A couple of singles on our part, but nothing, we were able to, not put too much together. I thought Woodruff did a really nice job of mixing and had a really nice changeup, and I thought his command was really good. And George in the 6th, I think they were able to get some runners on, and they took advantage of their opportunities. And 4 for 7, I think they were tonight with runners in scoring position. So that was really the difference in the ball game. And great to see Brandon out there and get a chance to get his feet wet. He probably didn't want to give up the 2 runs, but I thought he threw the ball pretty well. Sinker was pretty good, and just a couple of bad luck situations there for him. But it was a broken bat base hit and double in the gap. And again, this is a team. It's a lot of singles. It's a lot of putting the ball in play. Didn't punch out a ton, and like I said, took advantage of their opportunities. When they had pitches they were able to hit, they were able to do it with runners in scoring position. And a tough one tonight. We bounce back tomorrow, and we get rolling again.
Brewers are 2 victories away, by the way, from tying Minnesota for the longest streak in the majors this year. The Brewers All-Star rookie Jacob Misiorowski will start the second game of the series tonight. The Mariners will go with Logan Gilbert. To the scoreboard we go. The Mariners fall to 5 games behind the Astros. Astros knocked off the Diamondbacks 6-3. Rangers are now 7.5 games back, even though they beat the Athletics 7-5. Angels lost to the Mets. The LA Angels are 9 games back. Well, Seahawks getting ready for training camp. It starts officially tomorrow. They've made a significant roster change. They released veteran tight end Noah Fant. You remember him? He came to the Seahawks as part of the Russell Wilson deal. Back in 2022, in his 3 seasons in Seattle, Fant had 1,400 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. Training camp gets underway officially at the VBAC tomorrow. The biggest question going into camp, whether quarterback Sam Darnold can hold on to his starting job so far in minicamp. Darnold's been pushed by free agent Drew Lock and 3rd-round draft pick Jalen Milroe. We are just 16 days away from Seattle's first preseason game. It'll be at Lumen Field against the Raiders. All right, Apple Sox baseball. Here are your standings now. In the second half of the West Coast League North, of course, Wenatchee has won 5 games in a row, and they are right back in the playoff position. Edmonton has leapfrogged Victoria into first place in the second half. Wenatchee's 5-game winning streak has put the Apple Sox tied with Kelowna, 3 games behind Edmonton. Now the playoffs, if the season were to end today, it doesn't by the way, Wenatchee would be in the playoffs. The Apple Sox sweep of Nanaimo over the weekend combined with Edmonton's sweep of Kamloops puts Wenatchee into the number 3 playoff seed in the North. Victoria drops from number 2 to number 4, so they would lose home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. The Apple Sox still have 15 games left to play. They have a 3-game series this week against Edmonton. That'll be big. They have 3 games this weekend at Victoria. After 3 against Port Angeles, Wenatchee finishes the home part of their schedule against Bellingham. Then they wrap up the regular season with 3 at Kelowna. And our cameras will be there tonight. Live coverage of Wenatchee and Edmonton at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. Eric and Schmitty with the call, 6:35, first pitch right here on the NCWLIFE channel. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Hammock Day today. I used to have a hammock. Bought one in Zihuatanejo like 35 years ago. I wish I still had it. The Mayans in Central and South America came up with the idea of the hammock for sleeping or resting, made out of the hammock tree, basically made out of the woven bark from the hammock tree, thus the name the hammock. Columbus encountered hammocks in the Bahamas in 1492. He noticed that people like to sleep in these things off the ground so they wouldn't be attacked by insects. He brought the hammock back to Europe, and then sailors started to use it because it's a lot more comfortable when you're on a ship in the waves, sleeping suspended in the air than on the floor. Makes sense to me. That looks like a good way to blow a Tuesday. Happy National Hammock Day today. Today in history, it's July 22nd, 1587. We're going way back. The second group of English settlers arrives on Roanoke Island off North Carolina to reestablish the Roanoke colony. Of course, the first colony went there a couple of years earlier, but they didn't have supplies and they didn't get along with the local natives, so they went back to England. And then on this date in 1587, the second colony would arrive. It was known as the Lost Colony, and it still is, because 3 years later, when a supply ship showed up to see how the second colony was doing, they discovered there was nobody there. The settlement was still there, all 121 of the colonists gone, and nobody knows to this day what exactly happened to them. 232 years ago today, 12 years before Lewis and Clark did it, Alexander Mackenzie crosses the continental North America continent. He went all the way across Canada to British Columbia. That's the rock in British Columbia that he marked his name on. The first human, recorded human, to go all the way across North America, and he did it 12 years before Lewis and Clark in 1793. Baseball is a great game. In the world of baseball, when you're out of the game, you're out of the game. You can't come back in. That's one of the cool things about baseball is we roll footage of one of the most unbelievable games in recent history. We're going to Riverfront Stadium, Mets and the Reds on this date, 1986. That's Darryl Strawberry. As you can tell, he's pretty mad because he just got thrown out. This is the 6th inning. He got thrown out. He argued balls and strikes. You're not supposed to do that. So the starting right fielder for the Mets, he's out of the game. Kevin Mitchell had to come in. And then in the 9th inning, still trailing by a couple runs, they brought in Howard Johnson. Here's what happened. Howard Johnson, of course, he strikes out. Catcher drops the ball. Howard Johnson kicks the ball, gets in the catcher's way, and then runs inside the baseline. Now, you can't do any of those things. It's a drop third strike. In baseball, you get a run to first. You can't kick the ball, and you can't interfere with the catcher or anybody trying to field a live ball, and you can't run outside of the baseline. He did all 3 of those things, but the umpires missed it. As you can see, the Reds pitcher fields the ball. He gets hit in the back. Wally Backman does. The umpires get, of course, the Reds aren't real happy about this. The umpires get together. They say, well, what do we do? And they decided, well, Wally Backman is safe. He's safe. And then this. Top of the 9th, 2 outs, all Dave Parker, Hall of Famer to be, has to do is catch it, and the game is over, and yow. Dave Parker's going to, the late great Dave Parker is going to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday. Even Hall of Famers drop the occasional fly ball. Dave Parker drops, Keith Hernandez is hit, and the game is tied. To the 10th inning we go. In comes Pete Rose. He is the player manager. He pinch hit for himself for the pitcher, John Franco. John Franco, by the way, is the 5th pitcher of the Mets in this game. So the Mets are starting to run out of players. They've already had a couple of pinch hitters, so their utility infielder is now out of the game. So they're running out of players. In comes Eric Davis. He's still second. Next pitch, Eric Davis steals third. And here we go, the winning run. Oh, wait a minute, we got a problem here. Ooh, Ray Knight takes offense, and here we go. A good old-fashioned brouhaha, and this was not one of those you shove and you push and we do out stuff. No, they were throwing fists. They were throwing haymakers. One of the bigger brawls of recent time. This, again, is in the bottom of the 10th inning. Things get a little cattywampus now. So, to recap, Darryl Strawberry out of the game, replaced by Kevin Mitchell. Wally Backman out of the game, replaced by the utility infielder Tim Teufel. Howard Johnson in the game, Rafael Santana out of the game. And then the fight happens. Pete Rose, pinch hit for himself, takes himself out of the game. And then the big brawl happens, and this took a long time. This delay lasted 16 minutes before everything got settled down. They had to pick up all the gloves and the caps before everything was controlled. And after all the dust had, this was quite the brawl, as you can see. The Mets were known for fighting back in those days. After a 16-minute delay, when all the dust had been settled and everything got straightened out, 4 players have been ejected. For the Reds, Eric Davis. Why Eric Davis got thrown out? I think Eric Davis got thrown out for hitting Ray Knight's fist with his chin. I can't figure out why they threw out Eric Davis. It wasn't his fault. Mario Soto, the Reds, got thrown out. And unfortunately, the only third baseman they had, Ray Knight, got thrown out, and their utility outfielder, Kevin Mitchell, was ejected. So now, Davy Johnson's got a problem. He's out of players. What does he do? He takes Gary Carter, the catcher, and he puts him at third base, which he doesn't play. He had no choice. He had to put the backup catcher in for Gary Carter. He moved Gary Carter to third base. He moved Jesse Orozco, the pitcher, to right field to replace Kevin Mitchell, who had been thrown out. And then he brought in Roger McDowell to pitch, because at this point, Davy Johnson, the manager of the Mets, is out of players. He had to put 2 pitchers in the outfield. He was done. And so from this point forward, either Jesse Orozco or Roger McDowell would take turns pitching against the Reds. Whether the Red hitter was a right-hander or a left-hander, it would be Roger McDowell or Jesse Orozco. And whoever wasn't would go out and play either left field or right field with Mookie Wilson in center field to compete, to make sure there wasn't any damage done. Yep, the Mets ran out of players and had to put 2 pitchers in the game in a fielding position. By the way, when it was all said and done, here's what happened. In the top of the 15th, a 3-run home run would end the game, one of the craziest 5-hour games you have ever seen, and very rarely, you don't see this anymore because of the designated hitter. I can't remember the last time a team actually ran out of players, but it happened on Cincinnati on the state in 1986. Birthdays. The matriarch of the Kennedy family, Rose Kennedy, born in the state in 1890. Of course, the mother of a president and the mother of 2 senators. That's not bad. When you live to the age of 104, and she did, she outlived 4 of her 9 children. 2 of them died in plane crashes. 2 of them were murdered. Bob Dole was born 102 years ago today, a congressman from Kansas from 1961 to 1969, senator from Kansas from 1969 to 1996, the last World War II veteran to run for the presidency. He was the Republican nominee in 1996. Bob Dole, born in the state in 1923. We miss Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek, Canadian by birth, eventually would become a United States citizen, born in the state in 1940. We lost Alex Trebek 5 years ago, the host of Jeopardy from 1984 until he died. You remember when Danny Glover was the Grand Marshal of the Apple Blossom Parade back in the early 90s? Back in those days when the Chamber of Commerce was in charge of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, they did a little deal where they brought in local celebrities. They brought in Danny Glover and Vicki Lawrence and Jerry Mathers. Danny Glover is 79 years old today. Don Henley is 78 years old today, drummer and songwriter with the Eagles. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the man who will be king, Prince George of Wales, is 12, the oldest child of William, the Prince of Wales, and Catherine, the Princess of Wales. So he is second in line of succession to the British throne. You got the king, and then his dad, and then eventually Prince George will become king, so long as they keep the monarchy hanging around. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors, and we're great to have them on board. Mike Magnotti's got an opinion right around the corner, and then we're talking wild hockey with Austin Drade. They made a lot of roster moves to make this team as competitive as possible. Austin will tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Such a good time together, and it's only just begun. Got loud guitars, a little out of tune, but they ain't got a girl like you. And I know I'm all over the road, I can't help but go. Little bit of left, little bit of right. It's hard to...
Settle in for summer savings on stressless furniture at Boswell's. Right now, get a $100 instant rebate for every $1,000 you spend on stressless recliners, sofas, and accessories. Plus, save $50 on stressless Laurel and Mint dining chairs or home office chairs. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Hey there, folks. Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to Blueberry Hills to experience some real treats. Take a look at our homemade cream pies, our amazing cheesecakes, and don't forget our famous banana pudding. Remember, we're more than just great treats. People come from all over the world to experience what has been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm in the grocery store one Saturday morning, and I need to use a regular check stand, not the self-check thing. Now, guess what? There's no check stand open. Does this business not realize that the check stands are where their money comes in, and taking my money for their stuff is what they're in business for, isn't it? Well, isn't that the point of their business, for them to offer me stuff that I'm willing to give them money for? You know, I know there's issues with getting enough employees, but there are people who work in these local businesses who've told me that they need more hours, but they and other employees' hours are being cut and they can't get enough. Now, I got no problem with a business working to improve their bottom line, but is it getting to the point that some businesses seem to have forgotten that they are dependent on customers like me, customers who have other options? And if it gets to the point where a business priorities tip the scales to where they think they're doing me a favor to take my money, well, there's little question as to why some businesses go belly up. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, a presentation of Apple Valley Honda. The annual Close for the Classroom event, hosted by Serve Wenatchee Valley, will be held on Saturday, August 9th at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church in East Wenatchee. The goal is to provide 1,000 children with new clothes for the upcoming school year. Registration is ongoing and is limited to those students in the Wenatchee and Eastmont school districts. Use the QR codes to register, donate, or volunteer, or go to Serve Wenatchee Valley's website.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers. Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
4 on the defense when we drafted. We're both 6'5".
Jeez. So. You ready, my friend?
I love it.
In 3, 2, welcome back to the program. The Town Toyota Center may be dark behind us, but in the not too distant future, the ice will be down, the hockey will be here, and we will have, well, we're going to have some returning players, some fan favorites, but of course, these guys age out. And as they age out, new blood comes in, and they get indoctrinated into the Wenatchee Wild family. Last time, Austin Drade and I talked, Austin Drade, by the way, making his first appearance on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's nice meeting you. Last time you and I talked, the schedule had just come out.
Yep.
So now we know who we're going to play, and we know when we're going to play them. Now it's a matter of building up that roster and getting these young hockey professionals, hopefully soon to be professionals, here in the Wenatchee Valley. Talk about the roster building since the last time you and I visited, which was about mid-June, I think.
Yeah, so the schedule came out probably around June 20th, somewhere around there. So since then, we've had the Canadian Hockey League import draft. We've drafted 3 players from Europe, and we've continued to sign some guys who we've had rights to, but haven't actually had the contracts to. And now we're starting to bring some of those guys in as well. So we've signed several guys over the last 3 weeks here, and probably more on the way before we hit the last week of August when we start talking training camp.
Yeah, I can't believe it's almost upon us. Of the new players coming in, I mean, you've sent out all of these press releases. This looks to be a pretty good batch of talent heading our way.
Yeah, you look at the guys that we brought in from Minnesota. We've signed, I think, 5 players from Minnesota since about mid-April, maybe a month after the end of the season. And 4 of the 5 that we signed were actually in their state championship game for the high school programs back in the beginning of March. So it's going to be an extremely good group of guys that we're bringing in, not just from Minnesota, but the imports, some other guys that we've brought in along the way, guys that we've traded for here the last few months. So it's going to be a pretty solid group. I think a lot of teams around the Western Hockey League have tapped into that U.S. market with the change to the NCAA eligibility, and I think a lot of teams are starting to bring in some good talent from the U.S. Certainly the Wild are right up there among the bunch.
High school hockey in Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin is the equivalent of high school football in Texas. They take it very seriously there, and it's a huge pool of great talent in the upper Midwest.
There's a lot of talent in Minnesota, Wisconsin, New England, Massachusetts. We won't see those guys. Those guys will be, if they're playing juniors, they'll be playing in the USHL. They'll be playing in the Quebec League. But there is a lot of talent from the Midwest, and we get the talent west of the Mississippi. So your Wisconsins, your Michigans, those guys will go to the Ontario Hockey League. But Minnesota's Western Hockey League territory, we get a look at those guys.
How does Bliss and his crew? They have a scouting staff. Bliss just doesn't do it himself. That's a lot of film watching. How does one go about to say this is a player that we want on our team out of all of the hundreds and hundreds of players that are out there and available?
Well, Lee is our director of scouting, and Bliss, Clarkey, they've all got connections in Minnesota, in a lot of the markets where we used to draw a lot of our BCHL players from, California, Colorado. We've got some from Arizona as well. They've got scouts and connections and friends in the sport down there who they'll talk to. Who do you like? What do you know down there? and they'll watch some video, they'll do some interviews with players, and they'll talk to the sources they know down there, and they'll find the right guys that way. But there's a lot of talking, a lot of research that goes into finding the right 25 guys to be on this team.
Is there restrictions on how much one-on-one contact the scouts and the management and the administration of a WHL team can have with the player themselves? Are there some parameters there, or can you just talk to them unlimited as long as they're willing to talk to you?
I think it's relatively unlimited. There might be a few parameters in there that I'm not as aware of, but for the most part, and most of the time they're talking to parents, they're talking to player advisors and that sort of thing. So there may be some parameters, but it's expected. These guys are 15, 16, 17 years old. This is the big stop on the way up to the NCAA and hopefully the pros. So there's quite a bit of communication that goes on and that they're allowed to have.
And the parents probably play a tremendous role in this. When Johnny comes home and says, there's this team, the Wenatchee Wild, who are interested in me, and they start Googling Wenatchee, all that stuff. The parents probably have a tremendous amount of influence on where their kids may choose to play.
I'm sure there is some influence on where the kids play. The parents want the kids to go into a good program just as much as we want them to go into a good program. So there are a lot of different voices in the mix between player advisors, parents. I'm sure the players do some of their own research. They're getting used to the landscape as well. So I'm sure they do a little bit of their own homework in deciding, this is where I'd like to be.
Well, I've talked to this with Mitch Darlington, the head coach of the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and the players, when the season's over, they talk to each other, even during the season, and word gets out that this is the kind of organization that you might want to play for just amongst the players themselves, right?
Exactly, and in the 21st century, everything's very connected. You've got players who are talking to each other on their own team. You got players who may have gone on to a different team than kids they grew up with, but still learned the sport with. You got kids who play against each other, who know who the best players are that they've played against, and they talk to each other. So everybody's very very interconnected. It's 21st century. People talk. It doesn't matter what atmosphere it is.
It helps when you have, the players know that we have a fantastic facility, a year-round rink, a top-flight coaching staff, top-flight general manager, ownership group. All of that stuff plays a role.
Absolutely. This is the atmosphere that we want players to come to. We strive to set all that stuff up, like you said, with the facility, with the coaching staff, that players are going to, number one, want to come to, but when they come here, they're going to have a good experience, and they're going to get the development that they want to see, as long as they put the work in and do their part, and we know they will.
Are they making hockey players bigger nowadays? What's going on there? You had the one signee, the guy from, I believe, Slovakia, 6'5"? I'm assuming he's a defenseman. I don't really know, but that's big.
Yeah, we drafted in the import draft. This is how we get players from Europe. We draft them during the import draft along with the other Canadian Hockey League teams at the beginning of July, and we picked up a couple of defensemen who are 6'5", a goaltender out of Czechia who's 6'3", 6'4". I think that was a major focus as far as who to choose in the draft this year. Not just needs, okay, we need some defensemen, we need a goaltender, but we were looking for size, and we found some guys with international experience too. All three guys have played international hockey and represented their countries at some level. The defensemen have both played in the U18 World Championships a couple of months ago down in Texas. I believe it was the young man we just signed, Kapos, out of Slovakia, played in the Linka Gretzky Cup for U17 players last year. So we brought in some pretty talented guys, but they're big as well. I think they'll be imposing once you come on the ice and face them this year.
The Gretzky Cup, who is that named after?
Whatever happened to that guy?
Can't remember his name. Anyway,
I think he was pretty great.
He was pretty great.
One of one, I think.
Last question before we cut you loose. People say it's July. How busy can these guys be? They actually are busy. Tickets. Last time we talked, single game tickets hadn't really been rolled out yet. Season tickets are always available. Just give them a call and get that done. Where are we as far as I can come up to the gate downstairs and start picking, or upstairs to your offices and start buying tickets?
Yeah, single game tickets will go on sale in August, And we've yet to announce the exact date, but I know it will be in August when single game tickets for most of the games go on sale. Home opener September 27th is on sale now for the public, and our Kids Day game September 6th, our preseason game against Tri-City. Right now, those tickets are reserved for just the season ticket holders, so they can get their seats. They've got the first right to those. But coming up on Monday, those tickets will be available to the public. They'll be $15. Anywhere in the bowl will be $15, just like playoffs are. Same price, no matter what seat you're in. But you'll need a seat. You'll need a reserve ticket.
And keep in mind, when the promotional schedule is released, and it's going to be out here pretty soon, I know David and Gretchen and everybody's working on that, there are some promotional nights that always sell out or come really close, and you want to circle those when those come out. Guns N' Hoses, Hockey Fights Cancer, a number of those that are the bigger promotions of the years. If you wanted just a single game tickets for that, you got to be Johnny on the spot.
Absolutely. We have not yet announced the promotional schedule yet, but I can tell you right now, Guns N' Hoses, Hockey Fights Cancer, the military weekend, all of the favorites are back this year as they usually are. So when that promotional schedule comes out, circle those and figure out which games you want to come to. Get those tickets sooner rather than later, because they will go quickly. When the promotional schedule comes out, let's you and I get together and you can make your second appearance on Wake Up
Sounds
good.
Fair enough. Andrade, everybody, give a big hand. Stay cool. And we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Welcome to the Gilded Lily home, where something extraordinary is waiting for you. The Gilded Lily offers a unique collection of hand-selected, carefully curated items to help you celebrate all of life's special moments. From the budding chef to the home decorator to that very special occasion, there is an abundance of delightful gifts waiting for you. The Gilded Lily home, where you can step in for inspiration and leave with beautiful items to brighten any area of your home.
Clouds to the north, sunshine to the south. That low pressure ridge that fed those the rainstorms and a couple of isolated thunderstorms to the north of us has actually shifted down. It's actually right over the top of north central Washington. So we could still see some clouds roll in as the day progresses, give us a little bit of light rain late morning to early evening hours. Don't think we're going to see any thunderstorms as the day warms up. And we didn't get that much rain. Again, measured at Pangborn yesterday, we only got 2/100ths of an inch. It was the very definition of isolated rain. But again, we cannot rule out a thunderstorm today, although there's a lot less chance of it today than there was yesterday. There were a couple of locations to the north of us that got some pretty intense showers, especially in the Methow Valley. And some very good news, the Palmas fire burning up the Aniat drainage about 30 miles up Aniat. They got rained on pretty good for about 15 minutes yesterday. That's always good news indeed. So we're still, the atmosphere is still unsettled. Relative humidity is very high. It's at 82%. That's almost borderline muggy for the Wenatchee Valley. But things are going to start changing once we get through the rest of the day today. By late afternoon, early evening, the low pressure will have moved out of the way. It'll be replaced by a flat ridge of high pressure, which usually doesn't mean a long extended period of sunny and hot weather, but the ridge of high pressure isn't really going to get shoved out by any other weather system. So things are going to start warming up again with lots of sunshine. From the National Weather Service, one more look at your forecast. Again, can't rule out a stray raindrop today. If it happens, it would be between about noon to about 2, if it happens. We'll get up to about 85. We only hit 80 yesterday, and that was in the morning hours. It actually cooled as the day progressed yesterday. Clear tonight for the most part, 64 for the overnight low. Then here we go. Sunshine at about 92 Wednesday. Our normal afternoon high starting today is 90. So as you can see, right about that normal mark, so pretty warm for the Wenatchee Valley as we start getting less and less of July and get closer to August. Lots of sunshine tomorrow and Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. The long-term forecast looks sunny and warm. We did have a little bit of rain yesterday, finally, first time since May 25th, and it's going to be dry again. That's it for us. Have a good and safe Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.